Welcome back to JRG Guitars Up Today, the greatest words any guitar player can ever hear. New Guitar Day.
New Guitar Day.
New Guitar Day. New Guitar Day.
New Guitar Day. New Guitar Day.
That's right, today the new guitar is an old friend. From EVH on the Stripe series, it's the Frankenstein model. This is the unit that's so iconic and just, it spoke to me. I've wanted it for a very long time, and my loving and caring wife came through for me for Christmas with this incredible present for Christmas time. So as a young guitar player in the 1980s, I never knew a time when Eddie Van Halen didn't exist. I got into guitar after Van Halen had been on the scene with a few albums in the early 80s, so I never knew a time that existed that Eruption wasn't part of my vocabulary as a guitar player, if you will. The sounds and the songs and all the riffs and the things that he possessed, it was incredible for me as a young guitar player. Between Eddie Van Halen and Angus Young and Ace Frehley a Kiss, that was where my rock bottom foundation came as a guitar player. I had posters on the walls of my iconic guitar heroes that I looked up to and tried to emulate, and one of which was, of course, Ed Van Halen with that red and black and white striped overalls that he wore on stage in the 80s. Holding this guitar with the long hair flying and that big smile that he had, and I just was so drawn to that iconic image and that sound, and I just had to have this as part of my guitars, and I knew I could have it and have a connection to all those riffs, all those songs, and all that stuff that was so formative in my early years as a guitar player and has continued through to this day. Still in awe when I hear all that stuff of what he did for me as a young guitar player. So let's take a look at the EVH striped Frankenstein. So here we are with some sound samples, just a single humbucker. This single coil up front is not wired up, and there's no switch for it, so it's all just a straight volume pot and humbucker, no tone, nothing fancy. So this gives some classic tones. I've got some stuff dialed in here to play some EVH riffs, and we'll see how we do here. The nice thing about this pickup is it definitely is hot, definitely gives you some good gainy overtones, but as you roll off the volume pot, it's very dynamic, very touch sensitive, and you can get those things that he did on that first album that just were incredible with the rhythm playing. And that example there from Running with the Devil, when he goes into that section, you really roll it back, it's really quite a clean sound. So even though my volume pot was only on about 1/4%, I still grabbed those harmonics. It cleaned up, it gave that dynamic feel, and then when you roll it all the way on for the chorus section, it comes through with all that girth. So it definitely is a nice pickup, very dynamic, well sounding. The volume pot is one of those just easy friction, just rolls with ease. I love the placement of it. It's perfect. I reach, grab it with my pinky, roll it on and off. The fit and finish of the guitar is pretty darn nice. It is obviously a relict guitar in the spirit of what it is, but it is really feels nice and just brings across those good vibes and those good feelings. So again, rolling off that volume pot on some of that stuff just gives that dynamic, very touch sensitive, very nice indeed. And of course, any EVH riffs would not be complete without throwing some phaser on there and cranking it up. Very nice with the phaser indeed. And then, of course, the bridge, the Floyd Rose, is equipped with the D-tuner here, so you can do some drop D tunings very quickly. And of course, we all know what that means. Of course, I have this tuned as it should be, down a half step, so I can play along with all those EVH tunes as they're meant to be, down that half step. So here we are. I've got the guitar on the workbench just to take a slightly closer look at it. It does have a licensed Floyd Rose tremolo on it. The D-tuner, which is very nice with a quick little slide back, it drops this low string down a whole step. Just a single humbucker going into a volume pot, of course, with the tone label on it, as Ed had coming out of the 70s, and then right to your output jack. single coil pickup and a switch that are just in here, not hooked up, not working, not part of the electronics. A couple of the things that I did when I got the guitar. I pulled off the panel and ended up putting some shielding tape on the inside of the panel and the underside of the pickguard. You can see some of the shielding tape that was on the pickguard originally, the silver color. I have some that I put then over that just to shield that even more, to try and get rid of any noise that might creep up at all. Another thing that I did was to block off the tremolo. So here I am zoomed in on the tremolo cavity. Of course, it's upside down and the bar is getting depressed a little bit. I have a small wood block that I've put in there, and it enables the tremolo to not get pulled back, so you can't pull the notes sharp. You can only depress and do dive bombs. That's the way Ed had it set up, locked, so that any kind of tuning stability issues were resolved with that as well. Each guitar is reliced a little bit differently, so no two are the same, I guess, which makes it nice. The front of the guitar having that classic pattern, the back of the guitar, again, a classic pattern, minus some of the road reflectors and some of the other stuff that he had on the guitar in some of the later years. But the thing plays really nice. The handshake of the guitar is very similar to just a Strat style. There are no special contours or anything like that. Also, the truss rod adjustment is one of the easier ones, where it is just right here with a rod to go in and adjust your truss rod to get it set perfectly. Another nice feature about the guitar is that the pickup mount has two screws on it, each side having two screws, and what that is very nice, it enables you to set the pickup height but also set the tilt. Sometimes with just one screw in there you can really get some tilt or lean on the pickup, but with two screws, as you screw one down it leans forward, and then you screw the back one down or back, and it just levels itself out. You can really set your pickup height and slant exactly how you want it, so that's a nice feature indeed to really keep it exactly how you want it to be. Well, that's it. It's our quick tour of this Stripe Series Frankenstein relic that I picked up from EVH. Very excited to have this one. Makes you feel good when you play it. You gotta crank up some distortion, you gotta slip on a phaser, crank on the reverb, and play your Van Halen riffs when you're holding this guitar. Very excited and very happy that I could share it with you today. If you enjoyed this type of content, if you like these types of videos, please consider hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, and ringing that bell for notifications, so I'll be able to let you know when another video comes out for you to take a look at. Until next time, thank you very much from JRG Guitars.
JRG Guitars!